to kind of get a sense of this whole interface, let me go ahead and open up one of my video images. And I'm going to just arbitrarily click on one to bring it in. And of course, there we have our lovely host, Kenna. There we go. And she's talking to some folks who have come to the event. And I actually really like this shot because as I'm going through my footage, I'm in my head going, what's the best shot for me to use in my show? What are the best shots? What works for me? What story am I trying to tell? And as I look through this, it's like this was all about people coming and building community at Creative Live. And I want to have people interacting. I want to have people smiling and laughing. And I want those moments. I don't need 20 seconds of folks talking. I need 4 seconds of 2 people interacting, because you immediately, when you see this shot, even as a still, you react. Okay? Yes, they're interacting, but I have to find the right frame so that it's not like, both people are reacting. But I have that shot, and as a matter of fact, let me go ahead and show you how I would look at this. There's lots of ways to look at a clip. Keyboard shortcuts, spacebar. I'm going to just grab this little playhead, move it back and forth, and I'm going to say, that's a nice shot. It's a little bit, I don't know if I want to start with that. Let me take a look at what we have here. This is more fun. I have a really good laugh going on here. And so what I want to do is I want to actually choose what part of the clip that I want to put into my show. If we look here in the interface, and it's hard to see, I'm going to zoom in a moment. On the left side is actually the time of day or how far into the clip we are from 0. So in this case, this camera recorded time of day. I'm guessing it says 1820. It was about 6 o'clock at night, 6:20 at night. But what's more important is the right side, and that is the duration of this media, of this clip. It's 18 seconds long. Very rarely do you want to put a clip in that's 18 seconds unless there's a reason for it, like an interview or an event that's happening, or they need to see the entire, play of the guy running 103 yards to the touchdown, and then realizing that he wasn't even playing football and nobody was applauding. Okay, so it's a childhood problem I had. I'm sorry, but I had no. But this clip is 18 seconds. I don't want all 18 seconds. I probably want just that moment, and that might be 3 or 4. So I'm going to mark where I want it to start and where I want it to end, an in point and an out point. And to do that, I could simply go over here. There's a lot of buttons that I can use to play, stop, rewind. Marking in points and out points is what you want to do. There's buttons for that. You'll notice that a keyboard shortcut pops up. If you can see, it says I for in. Next to the out point would be O. So I'll click that. And now we've ignored everything before this frame. And then I can go through and say, oh, camera's a little crazy there. I thought I saw a nice little smile. There we go. That's the action I want. So I've already marked an in point. I've changed my mind. Guess what? If I mark another in point, it replaces the old one. Non-destructive. And then I let it play a little bit. There's good, nice little action. Got the hands going. Oh, out point. What I want you to see is this clip is now 2 seconds long. I don't need the other 16 seconds. And now I'm ready to bring this into my show. I can simply grab it and throw it in. I want to show you a couple of things. If I grab it and drag it, okay, one must be able to grab first. If it's the first clip, and this is a preference that you can change, we're not going to go into this in the hour we have, it says, do you want me to convert the sequence to match the exact parameters of the clip? There are times you want to do that, but we want to keep everything locked at this 1080p flavor because I might have footage that's diverse. I might have some GoPro footage that's 4K, and I might have some footage that somebody shot on their phone that's 720p, all these different sizes. I don't want things, I don't want to bring my first clip in and find out that I now have a 720 timeline and all my other footage is big and I'm compromising the size. So I'm going to, at this point, say keep existing settings. I created my sequence for a specific reason. And it puts it in. It's very, 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 very small because it's only 2 seconds. And I'm probably seeing, if we look over here, I'm seeing 10 minutes of video. Zoom in and zoom out. The plus and minus keys in the upper right-hand side of your keyboard, right above equals and below the dash or the underscore. If I hit plus, it lets me zoom in. I can see more of my clip. That's the 2 seconds. So we're basically focusing in. If I hold down the shift key and hit plus, I can actually see a little icon. So that's a little bit of the navigational. We go much deeper into it in the rest of the course. So I have my first clip there. It's a video-only clip. So we're good to go. There is no audio associated with this. And I get an idea, and if I want to play it, I can sit and go and play that clip. So here's our interface again. Organized our source material, everything we want to play with. I can continually bring media in to our show and populate this. It's not like, oh, I can only do it once. I can go back and say, oh, I need to use the Media Manager and find some new footage. Or I just downloaded some stock music. I want to use that. So that's where everything is organized. This is your preview monitor. It's called the source panel. As you saw, this is where I chose what part of the clip I wanted to use by marking in and out points. I bring that into my sequence, which is now I'm building my story. This is a graphical representation of my story. This window here, the program monitor, is what your viewer sees. This is like your on-air monitor. So this is like in the control room and your decisions, and this is what your viewer sees. And as you play this, this updates. So this is a graphical representation of this. And you'll see there's multiple video tracks and multiple audio tracks. If you have come from a Photoshop background, you are familiar with layers. It's the same thing. If I wanted to put a cutaway, or B-roll is the term in this, I might put it on the track above, and that will be seen instead of what's below it. If I put a title up there, it might have some transparency. You can still see what's below it through the transparent part, but then you can see the title, and that's where you start stacking stuff. Audio, well, of course, with audio, you might have voiceover, you might have natural sound, you might have music. So you can see you start building multiple layers of audio, as opposed to video, which you can only see from top down. Audio, you hear simultaneously. So we'll be working a little bit with that as we go through, but it gives you an idea of how to cut a show.